What is going on, guys? Eric White in the building, and you can see from the title of this video already what we're going to be talking about. Now, before I even start this video, I feel like I start every video with a prerequisite. Anyway, before we start this video, in no way am I saying that one operating system is better than the other, that Android is better than iOS, iOS is better than Android, and I'm not saying any of that one thing is better than the other. This is my opinion and everything that I think about the two operating systems. Now, once again, before I even start, I already made a video, you can click on it right here, about Android versus iOS, and I talked about the pros and the cons of both operating systems. It was pretty comprehensive. There's still way more things that I could talk about, but a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about are going to be referring from that video, and all the things that I talked about, the ideas and why one thing is better and what one doesn't have, is going to be coming from that video. A long time ago, I made a video saying this, which is why I picked up one of these bad boys. Video on that coming very soon. And while that review was on the way and I was really excited for that iPhone quickly died on me, and at first I wasn't too shocked by it. It didn't matter, but there's something a little bit deeper than that started to happen a couple of months later, which is where we are now. And before we even get into that, I have to take you guys on a little bit of a journey all the way back to the past. Now, my generation is pretty awesome, specifically because we were the generation that grew up with technology. We were alive during the time that MySpace was coming up. If you guys don't know what MySpace is, you're too young. This is around the time where Instagram and Snapchat was there. All these social media platforms are starting to get popular, and the internet was starting to get popular, and you can now have the internet on your phone. Now, the first one that I want to talk about that really got me into the Android operating system was none other than the HTC Desire. Now, this phone is pretty interesting. This phone I got one day. I woke up in 8th grade. It was graduation day. I was completely not expecting it. I wake up, I open my door, and lo and behold, I see this phone sitting outside in the case because my mom had given it to me for a graduation gift. Super excited. I was super happy. I downloaded Temple Run on it. I was playing Temple Run all day, and my friends, I was taking pictures with them and everything like that. This was the first phone, the first touchscreen phone, and just everything about it is so nostalgic. It was terrible. The one thing that was terrible, the vibration motor on this was terrible. It was so hard to get this little, I don't even want to get it off. It was so hard to get that off and get that battery out of it. It had a headphone jack, because you know those are dying now. And look how big this SIM card is. Now, if you guys don't know, what phones have nowadays is a micro SIM card, which means it is smaller, micro. This thing is huge. There's just so much nostalgia about this phone. The speakers were okay. The screen was super bright, vibrant, nice colors. The camera was okay. But for the time, this thing was exceptional. Like, I loved everything about this phone. And then after a couple months of using that, I moved on to the next phone that I was super excited about. Probably one of my favorite Android phones I've ever had, even up until now, just because of how great of a feature set this phone has, and that is the Motorola X. Now, a lot of you guys probably don't even know what this phone is. You guys probably didn't even know what that phone was. And this phone is very special to me, a little bit more special than the HTC Desire. This phone was special to me because I felt like I actually had a decision-making process in choosing this phone. Now, a long time ago, my mom asked me, oh, what phone would you get if you could choose? And I was like, oh, I want the Moto X. Not even thinking I would get it. And one day, I don't remember exactly how I got this phone, but my mom once again got me this phone. Super excited. Now, the coolest thing about this phone, it doesn't work, I really wish it did, but the coolest thing about this phone was the shake feature. If you shook the phone like that, it would activate the camera. If you did some other things, it just had the coolest features, and I thought I was super cool doing that. I would walk around and just shake it and point it at things and take a picture in there. Like, what did you do? I was like, I just took a picture. That's what I did. It was just an awesome phone. The battery life was okay. The screen was pretty good. You know, at the times, the screens and all the features of the phone were amazing for what you were getting at that time. Like, it wasn't anything compared to now in any stretch of the imagination. Everything was just sort of okay for that time. No one was really pushing the limits of things. There's nothing on the breaking edge of technology. It was all pretty much an all touchscreen phone, and you maybe got one or two unique features to that phone. And then a little bit after having the Moto X and completely loving that phone, I moved on to the Samsung Galaxy S5 Active, and obviously it is not in here. I have no idea where that phone is. Me and my brother both got this phone on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, sometime around that, and me and him were super excited about it. We set it up, pretty much the exact same process that I've had with all the other phones. Set it up, played games on it, and enjoyed the heck out of it just because I love phones that much. Now, you might be wondering, why did you talk about this? Aren't you just made a video on how to make phones? You use the Galaxy Note 8. Why are you talking about Androids, and why is this video titled this has nothing to do with it? Hang with me for a second. Now, because I've had all three of these phones lay the groundwork for what is my idea of a smartphone and what I prefer in a smartphone as far as features and hardware and everything like that, it kind of makes you wonder what's outside of what you're looking at. Now, because I've had all three of these phones, there were 2 times specifically where I ventured outside of that ecosystem. In college, I had a roommate who had an old iPhone that he was not using. After so many times of wanting an iPhone, I finally got up enough money. I said, hey, I have this amount of money, I'll pay you for it. And he gave me that iPhone. And I love that thing. It was pretty old and it only ran for about 2 or 3 months. The battery wasn't great on it. And I can't even remember how it stopped working, but eventually it just stopped working. And that's when I got the Galaxy Note 8, and I love the Galaxy Note 8. I've been on this phone for almost 2 years now, and I just love pretty much everything about it. The screen is amazing, and if you guys know anything about phones or manufacturers, you know that Samsung makes the best screens in the market. The camera was it still has a headphone jack, so that was a plus. And everything about the phone I just really liked. Once again, I had the groundwork laid for me in Android, so I was already born into liking this phone. It was predestined for me to love this phone. Coming off of the heels of having that awesome iPhone experience, it really made me miss everything that iPhone had to offer. And so for a couple of months I enjoyed the phone, but there were some thoughts about, you know, I kind of missed the FaceTime feature, I kind of missed iMessage, I kind of missed, you know, just navigating the home screen, how everything would move. After having the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 for a very long time, one of my good friends, Drew, he says, hey, I have an old iPhone and I wanted to originally use it for a review, but I ended up liking it so much that I just kept it. And I've had that phone for a couple of months, and then sadly that phone died as well. Like, I just woke up one day and the home button already wasn't working. The Snapchats were surprisingly better on this phone, this, I don't know, 5 or 6 year old phone, than a 2 or 3 year old phone. I don't know how that makes sense. It's Apple. And I just missed the experience of having this iPhone. Now, I'm not an Apple sheep, or I'm not an iSheep, I'm not an Android fanboy. I simply like what I like because of the experience I get. And I think that's why a lot of people prefer iPhone over Android. And I already talked about this in my Android versus iOS video. If you guys want to go check that out, link down below. But it's basically the experience that you're getting on the iPhone that I was desperately missing. There was a few times where my friend Drew, I was at the gym and he would FaceTime me, hey, do you want to go hang out? What do you want to go do? And we'd make plans right there. It's different doing it on Android because there's third-party apps and it's not exactly the same experience. Yeah, you can do it over text message, but it's not as fun. It's just there's so much convenience that iPhone/iOS brings to the table as compared to Android, and that's what I really started to miss. I miss the iMessage. I miss being able to see those blue messages and send those unique features to people. I miss being able to just FaceTime someone at the drop of a hat and catch up. Maybe it could probably be a 30-second FaceTime call, but it was better than texting them or calling them over the phone. I don't know, this video kind of turned into a nostalgia /versus/ why I actually miss the iPhone. But in short, I missed the iPhone because of the experience I had. Now, while the experience on the iPhone was not perfect, the battery on the iPhone 6 was pretty terrible, not gonna lie. But I stuck with it because I just loved the experience. All the apps were pretty much optimized for it. There was almost no lag, and just a little bit better than my Galaxy Note 8, which is saying a lot. So I guess that's where I'm gonna end the video. I just miss my iPhone. That's all I have to say. Now, I know what I'm gonna say might confuse you guys and it might not make sense, and you might be wondering, you know, Android has all these features, you've been with it for so long, but sometimes when you venture out of your comfort zone, you actually find things that you might not know that you like. So I encourage you, if you've been on iPhone for your entire life, which a lot of people have, I encourage you to go to a Best Buy, go to a Target or a Walmart or anything like that and go play with the Android device, maybe the Galaxy Note 9, maybe the Galaxy S9, the Pixel 3, and go play with those phones and just see the kind of experience that you get when using them. You might not know, you might actually like it. You might like that you get to customize the wallpaper and move apps in individual places. Or if you've been with Android, try moving over to an iPhone. See how the iPhone 8 feels, how the iPhone 10 feels. and just play around with that and see if you like it, because you might find something outside of your comfort zone that just might be even more comfortable than what you've been doing. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. To make sure if you liked it that you go down below, click the like button. If you guys are new, make sure you click the sub button, join Innovation Nation, and just like always, I will see you guys in the next one.